Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and I wanted to show you how to transfer everything from your old or current iPad to a new iPad Pro, iPad Air, iPad Mini, or iPad, or just any new iPad to you. I'll walk you through step by step, and there's a few things you'll need. The first thing is you'll need your Apple ID and password. I would make sure you have both of those things, and you'll also need additional passwords for things such as Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, or any other apps, Threads, any additional app you use. Sometimes it makes you log back into that. Not always, but sometimes it does. It will transfer all of your information using this method, everything from text messages if you're using Apple's messages, to WhatsApp messages if you're using the iCloud backup. All of your apps will be in the same place, even your wallpaper, Safari bookmarks, app data, contacts, and more. Now, we can do this a couple different ways using iTunes or a Mac, but I wanted to show you how to do this directly. You can also use an iCloud backup and restore, but most people want to get right into doing this. If you did want to back up and just make sure you have one to begin with, go into your settings on your current iPad and go to your name at the top, go to iCloud, and under iCloud, go to iCloud Backup. You'll see that it was last backed up a few minutes ago or so. If you don't have a backup, you may want to do that, but nothing will be erased from this device even after you transfer. So you can just make sure everything's good and synced up at that point. Now let's go ahead and get started. So on the new device, this is the new iPad Pro with the nano texture display. We'll slide up. You'll see it says English. We'll go into that. And sometimes it will just pop up immediately on your iPad so you can quickly transfer. You can also transfer directly from an iPhone as well, just to bring your account over. But let's go ahead and turn this iPad off. We'll turn it back on, and it immediately recognizes that there's a new iPad wanting to be set up. We'll go ahead and unlock to continue. Now it's going to say wait for other iPad. Just bring it into the camera here. There we are. It recognizes it on the old iPad, and we'll give it a moment. It will take just a moment, and lately it's been doing this where it takes a second. Then you can select who you're setting it up for. In this case, it's me, so we'll go ahead and get started. And then what we'll do is enter the passcode of our current iPad on the new one. Once you've entered that password, that's the same one you would use to unlock it. It's going to set it up and take just a moment here. Now, if you have a cellular iPad like I do, you can transfer your plan right away. And some carriers make this a little more difficult, or you can set it up later. I'll set it up right now just to show you what that looks like. So I'll go ahead and transfer. It says transfer plan to this iPad. We'll go ahead and tap transfer. Then it says confirm your transfer on your other iPad, so we'll give it a moment over here. And you'll see it says double click to confirm, so we'll double click the power sleep wake button. It confirms, and now it should transfer on its own. So you'll see it switched already. We'll give it a second and let it transfer. Also notice down here it says activating. So it says activating, then we should see our signal in the upper right in just a moment. Now it says connecting to network. So this can take a few minutes to actually transfer your plan. Now it says cellular setup complete. So it's done. It moved over the eSIM, and on the new iPad, there's only an eSIM option. Now we'll go on to data and privacy and tap continue. Give it just a moment here, and then it wants us to set up Face ID. So let me slide this iPad to the side, and we'll get Face ID set up. So we'll tap continue. It says rotate the iPad to the side since we have the landscape camera at the top now, and we'll go ahead and get started. So we'll go ahead and do this, move our head around, get that set up. Now if you have an iPad Air, you'll just press on Touch ID, tap continue. There we are. Scans your face similar to your iPhone, and now it says Face ID is set up. So we'll go ahead and tap continue. Now it's saying, do you want to transfer your data? So we can transfer from that iCloud backup I mentioned before, or transfer from this iPad. Now, if your iPad is not updated to the same version or a newer version than the older iPad, you'll need to actually update it first. So unfortunately, it will either prompt you to do that, but if it doesn't, you'll have to set it up, then update it, then erase it, then start over. But you shouldn't have to do that. Typically, it will update on its own. We have some other options if we want to set this up as new, but we want to transfer where it says 15 to 20 minutes. So we'll go ahead and tap transfer from Wi-Fi. So we've tapped on transfer. It will create a direct connection to the iPad to transfer all the information. So we'll give it just a moment, and it says signing into your Apple ID. We'll have to agree to the terms and conditions. And again, it continues to sign in. So give this a few minutes. Sometimes this can take 30 seconds. Sometimes it can take 5 minutes. Once it signs into your Apple ID, it will say, make this your new iPad. Now we can bring over everything from our apps and data, settings, and wallet. We can just tap continue. That will bring everything over just like it was before. If we don't want to do that, you can customize it. I'm just going to tap continue. Then it's going to ask about location services. I'll turn that on. Then it will go through and ask you to set up different credit cards. This is for Apple Pay. I won't set these up, but you can do that later. Now it's asking if I want to join the Apple Beta software program. Now, if you're already on a beta, it may make you update using that. I don't want to continue for now with that since I'm not on it, but we'll go ahead and hit continue, and then it's going to transfer data right away. You'll see it says transferring data to iPad and then transferring data from the previous iPad. So we'll give it some time, and this will say estimating. It's set about 15 to 20 minutes, so it really depends on how much data you have. So they're both 1 terabyte versions, but I think we're only using about 60 to 100 gigabytes. Now, as the transfer begins, it's going to say a long time, that it's going to take about 2 hours, as you can see here. However, it typically will speed up and usually take about 15 to 30 minutes, again, depending on how much data you have to transfer. The transfer completed, and that took about 59 minutes. So instead of 2 hours, it did take a while, but it was 59 minutes. So once that happens, it will reboot the new iPad, and it says transfer complete on the old iPad. So we'll tap continue, and then you have the option to erase the old iPad. Now, you don't have to do this, and you can leave it alone just to make sure you've got everything on the new iPad. That's what I would recommend. You can erase this later on. So just tap not now. Now you've got your current iPad, and the only thing you'll see is maybe if you're using messages, they'll carry across to both. So you'll see we have the same thing. If we go back into Do Not Disturb, it would switch wallpapers, but you'll see it now is using the exact same wallpaper, and everything will be identical. So let's go ahead and unlock this. And now that it's transferred everything, you'll see all of my apps and everything are starting to go into the same place. It needs to install some of them, but if we go over, it will install some apps that it didn't already, then bring over all of the data into it. So you'll see it just installed that one. If we go into messages, you'll see all of the same messages. So it will work exactly like the old iPad, your cellular data and everything. So you'll see all the same things on each one, from your photos to your different accounts and different applications. So for example, if I go into my email, I should have all of my accounts there. If I go into my messages, I should have those there as well. Now, if I go into photos, all of my albums are the same. If I go into photos on the old device, you'll see iOS 17.5. Everything's identical. So just give it time to restore all of your apps, and sometimes you will need to log back in. So if I go into X or Twitter, it even restored my account. I didn't even have to log into it. So everything seems to be working as you would expect. Google, you may have to put in your information, you may not. It just depends on the specific app and the company. So hopefully that helps you understand what you need to do to move everything over. Once you're happy with the old device, that you maybe want to sell it, give it away, hand it down to someone else, all you need to do in order to wipe it is go in here. You'll see it says erase iPad. You can do that directly from here, or just go to General, Transfer or Reset iPad, erase all content and settings. Then it will show you what you can erase. So you'll tap continue, and then it will warn you again and ask you if you want to delete the eSIM. Once you delete it this specific way, it won't interact with anything on this device. But do not go in and delete individual photos from this one, as it actually will delete between both because it's syncing through iCloud. So if you wipe the whole device as a whole, just using the erase settings, it won't touch this device at all. But either way, since you have that iCloud backup we talked about at the beginning, you'd be able to restore from that as well. So hopefully that helped you transfer everything from your old iPad to your new iPad. And I'd love to hear from you what iPad you're using in the comments below. I'll link this wallpaper along with any others I've used in this video in the description like I normally do. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.